You're tuned into Visions, a business and community affairs program designed to encourage and promote entrepreneurship in Central Alabama.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Visions. Cedric Varner, excited about our guest today, the mayor of the city of Montgomery, Mayor Todd Strange. Mayor, thanks for being with us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you
once
for
again.
your invitation. I always look forward to this conversation.
Yes, it has been a while and a lot going on in the news and in the community, and you've been out in front of all of it.
Some of it's been really good.
Some of it, and we're going to let you just share all of what you want to share. But one of the things that happened last week as we start was the Small and Minority Business Initiative. Yeah. And I was there at City Hall at the function you did, and I thought it was great. And you know, how did you feel about how everything turned out?
Well, I was excited about it and ecstatic the way we kind of moved it along. When we asked Charlie Price to join us, that was one of the initiatives that I wanted him to look after. There was some other annexation that he's done a great job there as well. But he reached out to Doug Moore, and Doug, along with his daughter, has really done a good job reaching out to the community. And you know, the first one that we really went into was the municipal court that we'll talk about a bit later. But as it came back, we only had about 15%. And while everybody's really ecstatic about 15%, it wasn't good enough because we had a 30% goal. So we went back, recast, and looked at some of the other parts of that contract that were going to be let, and we were able to get it up to above 25%. That's a really good start. But you know, we don't have enough major projects in and of ourselves at the city. So then we focused ourselves to introducing Doug to the business community, those that are in fact doing contract. We've got $250 million for construction going on right now in Montgomery. A lot of that, of course, is downtown. And so then to introduce some of the minority businesses to the John Foshee, also to Marjam, those are the ones, the private sector is where the real benefit is going to come. And to have somebody come here from Atlanta, Georgia, trying to steal our contractor, shame on them. But that just tells us that something good is happening. And if we get our contractors employed in Atlanta and they're coming back to Montgomery after they've had some great success, that's fine.
Well, you know, you gave out just a couple of awards just to recognize Orlando Cannon Janitorial, and Foshee for just coming together to initiate that partnership.
Exactly. There were 5 or 6 that we showcased. There were many others that we could have showcased, but this is just the beginning. And we talked about before the show, what we got to do is to continue to grow the program, particularly in the private sector. And then when we do something in the public sector, we got to make sure that we make it available to those that maybe can partner with others. Jerry Kaiser does that really well. Ken Upchurch does that really well. John Stanley has done that really well. There are many others out there that are partnering together and to have good businesses as we go forward. Not in name only, but actually doing things so that they can get good balance sheets, can learn to bid, and then be able to get bonded.
Okay, all right, that's good. We really think that's a really great program, and just really glad to see it. Now, as we transition talking about business and making connections, you got the Montgomery Cyber Connection. You got Maxwell Air Force Base, Air University. Just kind of give us an overview for people who are just kind of getting up to speed.
If I ask you to define cyber for me, could you do that?
Not exactly, but I did hear you give a good definition the other day.
You know, cyber has to do with the internet. And so everything that we're doing is about the internet and the social media and all of the activities that the internet service providers. And so what we had done with the Internet Exchange, one of only 4 in the Southeast, the only one in the state of Alabama, we're giving a platform to the WOWs and the charters and the AT and the level 3s and you name it to be able to come in and do things very efficiently and with great speed. Give you, for instance, we've talked about a millisecond. I'm not sure I know what a millisecond is, but one of the cable companies, before they hooked up, they could do something in 64 milliseconds. Now it's 2 milliseconds. And speed is money and time. And so that's moving in the direction. We still have a big step to take, which is to be able to connect Montgomery to Birmingham and then Huntsville to Birmingham back to Montgomery, so that we don't have to go to Atlanta. We don't have to go to Nashville. And we're pretty close to making that a reality. It's going to take the private sector to help us do that. And then last week we also announced a lot of these technology initiatives,
right,
which just seems to say that we are a tech-savvy city. You know, Uber was a really good example.
Yeah.
When you got Uber out there, you're showing to the community and to those visitors that we're a tech-savvy city. When we're giving free internet downtown, when we have 3 houses that's dedicated to internet, when we got a Boyd Stevens who's out there with Revolution, MGM, and James Weddle, and all those that have come here from Austin, Texas. You know, we're now becoming a mecca. We're not there yet, but we're taking giant steps forward.
Well, and speaking of that, now we talk about cyber. You got Air University, you got General Quast.
Oh,
and
man.
You said you were hitching your
Yeah,
wagon.
I'm hitching my wagon to that star. You know, 2 years ago when I heard him make the speech about cyber, I got energized, and while I didn't understand it all, we've continued to have these discussions, and because he stepped out and he was able to get the Cyber College of the Air Force here, and because we have Gunter and all the things that happen at Gunter, it's logical that we would be right here. And we have to have our universities, we have to have our medical centers, we have to have education, and we got to have the big businesses. You know, for us to look around for a place to house all this cyber stuff. I mean, Dr. Bronner, his vision 2 or 3 years ago to be able to have a data center right in the downtown Montgomery. So all of a sudden we're becoming the look to that data center, and that's going to be the kings of the world will now come here and open up shop right in Montgomery, Alabama.
That's awesome. Awesome. I'll tell you what, we're moving forward. Now you got downtown Wi-Fi, you got a public-private partnership.
Yes, we did. That was something that Clay McGinnis came to us along with Leslie Sanders, who is chairman of the Riverfront Foundation. They had secured the Wind Creek Hospitality as a sponsor to be able to provide free downtown Wi-Fi. And we'll have 20 stations, starting with the Biscuits.
Yeah.
It goes live, I think, on April the 12th when the Biscuits home game starts, the season starts. And so we will build that. If that's successful downtown, then we can move to East Chase. We can move to Cloverdale or to West Fairview, any of those areas that we've got people congregating. You know, we don't really care about making the money off of the Wi-Fi. What we care about making money off of is the businesses that associate themselves with the tech-savvy city.
Okay. All right. Real good. Real good. Speaking of development, you got the One Center. Formerly,
but we don't say that simply because we're trying to bury that.
Right.
We have, but as you well know, on both sides of the former mall, we have our police and fire, which has been there over 2 years. LAMP is under construction. Fields, you see, the tech center, Impact is there. That's going to be our response to 21st century jobs with all of the state resources that we have, the Board of Education resources. We got things that are happening there when that opens up, hopefully in the fall of this year, but it probably is going to be January. But either one, we will transfer from the what now is a technology center, but it'll grow and expand, and we've had a lot more resources. LAMP, of course, is the premier high school. We got them a new home. All the ball fields are under construction right now, and there are at least 2 people that are looking at purchasing the balance of the mall. That's about 350, 400,000 square feet that are yet to be redeveloped. Guy from Tampa has been in town, and he's talked about that whole corridor area. We would love for that to be part of the equation. We've met with him a couple of times. We've offered some incentives that will help in that particular area. But what we've got to do is to find other private entities and some governmental entities that are willing to come to that space so that they could be successful there, like pre-K programs, like after-school programs, you know, perhaps drugstores, perhaps, well, we know that HSI has 10,000 square feet already leased, so maybe there could be some medical things starting there as well. So we're on the front end of that. We've led the way, government and education, and now we're seeking others to follow us but it's going to be primarily from the private sector that's doing that.
Okay. Now, speaking of construction, we go back across town, downtown.
Okay.
You got a new municipal court.
We do, but everything downtown is booming right now. You know, we've just brought online about 200 new units. Half of those, about half, are leased now. We've got the military coming in. They'll take the balance of those. Some reconstruction or deconstruction would be the better way to say it. It's happening on Commerce Street right now. We've got a couple of new restaurants going in. We've got at least 2 and maybe 3 hotels that we will announce in the next 30, 60 days. Again, it's private sector, and you got to get all the parties together to get a date to do that. These are national hotels, and then you've got the Foshis on the right-hand side of Dexter Avenue. You got Marjam on the left-hand side. You got One Court Square that you know, and my cell phone is ringing right now. We have to turn it off.
That's all right. That's no problem.
But that's all happening. And then the municipal court, we've been in that same municipal court from time immemorial.
Yeah.
And we only have one big courtroom. We only have one judge's chamber. And so we've been working on trying to get that accomplished now for about 5 years. But it will be, I think we'll move into that in the September, October timeframe. We'll have 2 operating courts and a standby court. We'll have 2 full-time judges and 2 other part-time judges, so that we can move individuals through the system more rapidly, and it'll be more efficient, and certainly it'll be a lot safer.
Now, as it relates to law enforcement, we've got a big case that's been in the news, and you've been out in front of it, and we saw your posts in the paper yesterday and online. You got the Greg Gunn case,
right.
and you know, what do you want the community? Is certainly challenging all the way around.
Very tragic, regrettable that that whole situation has occurred. And you know, what we've been trying to do, and what we tried to do in our piece yesterday, was to say, you know, we have great sympathy and condolences to the Gunn family who's lost a family member, and we don't know all the facts. And on the other side of the equation, we've got a young man who was otherwise a good officer. He and his family have been forever changed, and so, you know, we step back immediately from that. All of that is being done by SBI. We're in the dark as well as everyone else. And so what we're trying to do is answer some of the questions, but we don't have the answers. And so what we want to be able to do is to trust the system, to move this forward. The March 24th date, it's yet to be determined what really comes out, whether it gets sealed or what happens. But we want to be able to be supportive of our community, the Gunn family, but also the Montgomery Police Department and Officer Smith, because he has been charged, he has not been indicted, and certainly has not been convicted. And you know the adage of you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. What we want to make sure of is that the light of truth dictates where we go from this. And all of those that would try to use this as an opportunity to divide us, we don't want that to happen. We want to be united.
Excellent. Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks
for coming to be with us. That's going to do it for us on this segment of Vision. Mayor Todd Strange. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.